Now we're subtracting mixed numbers, but this time we're going to get our answer by first changing both of our mixed numbers into improper fractions. Remember, to change a mixed number into an improper fraction, we multiply the whole number by the denominator and then add the numerator. So for 3 and 1/5, 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16, and the denominator stays the same. Now we're subtracting 1 and 1/3, but we can change that to an improper fraction as well. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4, so we're subtracting 4/3. But to subtract fractions, we need the denominators to be the same. Now the lowest common multiple of 5 and 3 is 15, so we can change 16/5 and 4/3 into fractions which have a denominator of 15. We use multiplication to find equivalent fractions, and 5 times 3 is 15, and what we do to the denominator, we need to do to the numerator as well. Now for 16 times 3, you might need to use short multiplication to work it out, but that's 48. Then 3 times 5 is 15, and 4 times 5 is 20. So now we can rewrite our question. Instead of 3 and 1/5 or 16/5, we can write 48 over 15. And instead of subtracting 1 and 1/3 or 4/3, we can subtract 20/15. So now we have a common denominator, and the denominator stays the same in our answer. 48 minus 20 is 28, so as an improper fraction, our answer is 28 over 15. To turn that into a mixed number, we can divide 28 by 15, and that's 1 remainder 13, and the denominator stays the same. So that's 1 and 13/15, because 1 times 15 is 15, plus 13 is 28. Now we have 3 and 3/4 minus 1 and 5/6. So we can change both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15, so that's 15/4, because the denominator stays the same. And now 1 times 6 is 6, plus 5 is 11, so that's 11/6. Now to subtract fractions, we need the denominators to be the same, and it's usually easiest if we use the lowest common multiple of both denominators. So 12 is the lowest common multiple of 4 and 6, because it's the lowest number that's in both times tables. So we can find equivalent fractions for 15/4 and 11/6, which have a denominator of 12. Now we'd still get the right answer if we used any other common multiple, but if we're using 12, 4 times 3 is 12, and 15 times 3 is 45. Again, you might need short multiplication for that. Now 6 times 2 is 12, and 11 times 2 is 22. So we can rewrite our question again. Instead of 3 and 3/4 or 15/4, we can write 45/12, because that's equivalent to 15/4, and 15/4 is 3 and 3/4 as an improper fraction. Now, instead of subtracting 1 and 5/6 or 11/6, we can subtract 22/12, because that's equivalent. So now we have our common denominator, so that stays the same, and 45 minus 22 is 23. So as an improper fraction, our answer is 23 over 12. But we can turn that back into a mixed number by dividing 23 by 12. That's 1 remainder 11, and the denominator stays the same. So our answer is 1 and 11/12. And we can check 1 times 12 is 12, plus 11 is 23. Now let's show fraction bars to see what we were doing here. For this first question, we started with 3 and 1/5, but we changed that to an improper fraction, so that gave us 16/5. Then we changed those 16/5 into 48/15. Now we were subtracting 1 and 1/3, but we realised that that's the same as 4/3, and 4/3 is equivalent to 20/15. So if we take away 20 of these 15ths, that leaves us with 28/15 left in blue. But 28/15 is the same as 1 and 13/15, so that's our answer. Then, for this second question, we started with 3 and 3/4. We saw that that's 15/4 as an improper fraction, and 15/4 is equivalent to 45/12. Now, we were subtracting 1 and 5/6, so that's the same as 11/6, but 11/6 is equivalent, so the same as 22/12. So taking away 22 of these 12ths leaves us with 23/12 left in blue. But we can divide 23 by 12, that's 1 remainder 11, so our answer is 1 and 11/12. Thank you so much for watching, I really hope that was helpful. If you're a teacher or a parent, then please subscribe or go to keystage2maths.com to download resources for this lesson and many more. That's all for now, I'll see you in the next video.